There, this is Andrew bringing you another Keyforge deck reveal and review. This is CotA deck, the last one I have from a box I got off of Amazon for pretty cheap and opened up to do a family sealed tournament with some nephews, nephew, nieces, daughters, brothers-in-law. This is going to be Mars, Dees, and Shadows. It's Q Wilson, Gold Town's Scarred Lady. If we get good combos out of Mars, this can be pretty crazy. If we get good control out of Dees, I'd be very happy. And if we get strong amber control and direct damage out of Shadows, I'd be very happy. Lights Out is a card that I feel like is just poison for Saurian especially. And I think CotA actually behaves pretty admirably against Worlds Collide if you're playing the really good CotA decks. Of course, Mars is very finicky, so if we get really good Mars, then we're going to be chugging along. If we get slow Mars, we're going to be sad. But we'll start with Dees, and we start with Arise, which is an action that says choose a house, return each creature of that house from your discard pile to your hand, and gain a chain. We got to control the weak. That's a good sign. It's an action with a bonus amber, and after you play it, you choose a house on your opponent's identity card, and your opponent must choose that house as their active house on their next turn. There's a good case for this being the strongest card in the game, and if I get two, I'll be very happy. Oh, we got two. But this is two decks out of this box that I got to control the weaks. It might have been three. It's crazy. Okay. Wow. Alright, no third one. Okay, and the next card is a little iffy. Keyhammer is an action with a bonus amber. By the way, I just want to say, Control the Weak is one of those cards. If you have two in your hand, you don't play both. You play one, you hold one back. Stealth Mode is the other card, slash Scrambler Storm is the other card that is that strong. So Keyhammer is an action with a bonus amber. If your opponent forged a key on their previous turn, unforge it, your opponent gains 6. If your opponent did not forge a key, you don't want to play this because giving your opponent 6 is bad. But if you unforge your opponent's key, it's pretty good, especially if you made them forge it with Lash or something like that for extra. Dominator Bauble, very good card. It's an artifact with action, use a friendly creature. Ooh, we have Key to Dees. That's an artifact, an item with Omni, sacrifice it, and you destroy each creature. Very strong. We haven't seen any creatures yet, by the way. We do have Lash. It's an artifact and weapon with action, keys cost +3 during your opponent's next turn. So if you manage to do this, make your opponent forge for 9, and then Keyhammer, you've really made them sad. And then you use the Lash again. We have Charette, who's a 4-power demon with play capture 3. More good stall for keys. Gabos Longarms is a 5-power demon with before fight, choose a creature. Gabos Longarms deals damage to that creature rather than one it's fighting. That is an interesting one. I'd be interested to see how this plays in Worlds Collide. I feel like there's good opportunities for it to do work. Oh, and Pit Lord. This could be good or bad. It's a 9-power demon with taunt, and while it's in play, you have to choose Dees. So that can be iffy. But if you have the key, to Dees in play, you can play it and then destroy everything, and that's not so bad. And the Dominator Bubble makes it less bad too, because if you have non-Dees creatures out, you can still use them on your Dees turn. Schuler is a 5-power demon with play. If your opponent has 4 or more amber, you steal 1. 2 of those. That's good. That's real good, and that's real good with Arise. Because think you use that. You do 2 of those. You steal 2. You use Key to Dees, kill them all, Arise, and play them again. That's real solid. Alright, going on to Mars, we have Ammonia Clouds. It's an action that says deal 3 damage to each creature. 2 of those, wow. Whew, that's a little much. 3, oh, that's a little much. That might make this unplayable. I don't like that. We'll see. I think it's too much. Martian Hounds is an action. When you play it, you choose a creature, and for each damaged creature, give the chosen creature 2/1 power counters. Now, if you do manage to use an Ammonia Clouds to put a bunch of damage on things, play certain creatures, and then boost them with Martian Hounds, that can be real crazy. Phosphorus Stars is an action. When you play it, you stun each non-Mars creature and gain 2 chains. That's interesting. It's very situational. Shatter Storm is an action. When you play it, you lose all your amber, and then your opponent loses triple the amount of amber you lost this way. That's exceptional amber control. Alright, now we get into... So this is all stuff that, like, hurts you and your opponent, mostly. I mean, Martian Hounds, no, but the rest, yeah. Hopefully we'll start getting into some stuff that could be fast and build our board state. We have Squawker, which is an action with a bonus amber. After you play it, you ready a Mars creature or stun a non-Mars creature. Okay. John Smith is a 2-power agent and Martian with elusive, and after it fights or reaps, you ready a non-agent Mars creature. That's a great target for Martian Hounds, actually. Then we have Mind Warper, who's a 2-power Martian scientist with elusive, and action, choose an enemy creature. It captures one from its own side. Very good amber control if it stays on the board. 2 of those. And, if you have those and the John Smith, wow. Ulik Megamouth is a 3-power Martian scientist with fight, reap, use a friendly non-Mars creature. Now, this is real interesting to note because if you have this in play and the Dominator Bauble, you can Dominator Bauble to reap with Ulik Megamouth to use a Shadows creature. And we'll see what we get there. And then we have Zookeeper, who's a 2-power Martian scientist with elusive, and after it reaps, you put an enemy creature into your archives. And if it leaves your archives, it goes into its owner's hand instead of wherever it would go. Okay, that's interesting. I would love more Squawkers, but these are interesting creatures to have, and most of them are elusive, so that's going to give them a little bit of sticking power. Not a lot of strong creatures in Dees, although of course the Pit Lord is crazy. We really might end up having turns where we use 2 Ammonia Clouds to wipe the board and then drop some Mars creatures, and that's not bad. Alright, let's see what we got in Shadows. Ghostly Hand is an action with 2 bonus amber, and if your opponent has exactly 1, you steal it. If we get more incremental steal, that can really help get us there. Yeah, it's an interesting card. 2 of those. I don't mind that. It's just so fast for getting amber. It's not bad. 3 of those. Wow. That is... I have a deck that I opened very early on in this game that has 4 of these. It's pretty good. Wouldn't have been sad to see 4. Oh, Key of Darkness. Okay, it's an action. When you play it, you forge a key at +6 the current cost. But if your opponent has no amber, you forge at +2 instead. That could work out here depending on what other steal we get. Miasma is interesting. It's an action with a bonus amber. After you play it, your opponent skips the forge a key step on the next turn. And this is interesting play with Keyhammer, because you might you Keyhammer them with Lash, and then the next turn you Miasma them, and then the next turn you drop Shulers. You can do some crazy amber manipulation with these types of combos. 2 Miasmas, wow. 3 Miasmas. Now, if I could just get a Too Much to Protect. Holy cow, that's a lot of miasmas. Poison Wave is an action with a bonus amber. After you play, you deal 2 damage to each creature. So much direct damage board wipe here. Relentless Whispers, gain an amber. It's a bonus amber, and you deal 2 damage to a creature. And if this damage destroys that creature, you steal 1. Carlo Phantom is a 1-power elf thief with elusive and skirmish, and each time you play an artifact, you steal 1. How many artifacts do we have, though? I think we just had the Key to Dees, the Lash of Broken Dreams, and the Dominator Bauble. So, could work out, but it's a little iffy. Nexus is a 3-power cyborg thief with elusive, and after it reaps, you use an opponent's artifact as if it were yours. That can be quite good. And lastly, we have Umbra, who's a 2-power elf thief with skirmish and fight, steal 1. Okay. If you want to, high IQ play, I suppose you do something like Poison Wave, Umbra, and then the next turn Martian Hounds, but the Umbra's probably dead at that point. So, I don't know. Not actually a lot of reliable steal here. We maybe get steal with Umbra. We get up to 3 with Carlo Phantom if we're lucky. And then Relentless Whispers we probably hit. But we can stall for so long. I mean, that's a lot of stall. And then when they do forage, you're going to be making them forage for 9. And then you do have the ability to cheat. And if you can burst, by 6 in a turn, you legitimately have a chance to fire the Key of Darkness. So that could work out. And ways, if you miasma 2 turns in a row, and then the next turn you Shatter Storm, you can do some interesting stuff. Where are we going to struggle? This is terrible for board control. We can wipe. We have a lot of ways to wipe the board, but then not a lot of ways to dominate the board. So we're really going to be very action-based and needing to do the exercise hefty key control and really get value out of those control the weeks, I think. And probably the Pit Lord more often than not is like a pitch. I don't foresee it being something that does a lot of good for us, really, unfortunately, because it is such a nice card. But if it wasn't for that downside, but maybe we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I'll have to see how it works in practice. Potential here, though. 3 miasmas is just insane, and I think this shows what a crazy card that is. 3 Ghostly Hands is insane amber generation. This Mars is interesting, and the Dees is going to be very frustrating for the opponent. I just am not quite sure where it lands, where it goes in the end. But we'll have to try and find out. Anyway, hope you enjoyed watching this. This was Q Wilson, Goldtown's Scarred Lady. I think it has pretty high potential. We'll just have to see how it plays out. And I'll see you maybe around forging some keys. Thanks.